I assume it's working. Good evening, everybody. How's it going? Yeah, I mentioned before I had to stop and restart the stream, I was like, oh yeah, these OC remix songs that have words in them, that's not annoying at all. I don't feel like I'm competing for loudness whenever I'm talking about stuff. Well, anyways, hello everybody. I'm Lewis Cohn. This is my second stream on Picarto. Last week I've already taken the picture off and put it away in my portfolio because this is actually I get one page here. This is a sheet of watercolor paper because I'm stupid. I mean, it looks like a thick sheet of paper, of course, but there's only like 5 pages here left, so I got to buy another pad at some point. Drew Gadget last week. I would have brought her out to show you, but I've already put the drawing in my portfolio. So I figured tonight I could maybe draw some other characters. That sounds like Mega Man. Yeah. I recognize that. Or no, I'm sorry, not Mega Man. Is that Journey I hear? We're playing Faithfully. So I drew Gadget last week, just in the middle of the thing, and I thought I could maybe draw like 3 different poses of her and do like 1, 2, 3, but I drew her too large, and I would not have been able to fit 2 more here without, like, you know, making them not all the same size. So I figure if I could maybe fit 2 characters per page, so I could do 2 characters, and I figured I could take my swing at doing like Buster Bunny and Babs Bunny, or whatever, Buster on the left and Babs on the right, you know what I mean? So I figured I would, you know, take a shot at doing that, just because I'm trying to pick characters that either have an abundance of official art or ones that have a lot of fan art, so because it gives me more stuff to kind of look at. So I haven't really taken any risks, so to speak. I got a lot of fan art characters I can make fan art of. Before I get too far into the stream, it's interesting that this is my second time out doing this, and I've already, you know, last week you may have, if you tuned into that, you may have saw that, you know, my Discord notifications went off a few times, and I was responding to a friend of mine because kind of a newsworthy event happened where he lived, and I was concerned about his well-being and safety. So he's fine, of course, but I got off to a start on that. The middle of this past week, I got a text from a friend of mine with, you know, the way he phrased it. I was pretty sure he was just screwing around. He didn't really know how hectic my week has been. So I'll address this real quick before you know, just so the message is out there, so the people that watch the first 5 minutes of this and tune out, you know, just to see if I've noticed them, they can have their satisfaction. Yeah, I got a text from a friend who said, hey, they're talking about you on the Kiwi farms. That's never good news. Most of the time it's not. So naturally, I was like, well, shit. Good things, I hope. I pray, right? He was like, yeah. So he linked me to some thread, some random discussion thread. There were people talking about Bad Dragon and shit, as they always do. They brought up that website that I used to run, kind of alongside them, the one with the bad reputation. And yeah, somebody had linked to my little blog post and things like that, saying, you know, hey, I used to know this guy, I used to talk to him, he seemed like a really nice guy, he wrote a journal about what happened, so it was interesting to see that all these little blog posts I've been making have not just been ignored, you know, it's not just out in the ether, people are actually, you know, kind of reading them, so that's reassuring that, you know, nothing's falling on deaf ears. That said, a couple of people were reading the stuff there and had some pleasant things to say. So I guess in case because they linked to my blog, you know, linked to my old website and stuff like that. So there's the off chance that some of them might be watching right now or watching this on YouTube or whatever the hell, because now they're maybe passively aware of me. I guess my response to that is thank you for treating me with dignity and humility. It is appreciated. Like I said, it's one of those things that whenever somebody texts you something like that, it's never something that it's never something you actually want to hear. Of course, you know, you get that panic response. So thank you for, I don't know, giving me the time of day, treating me like a human. It is appreciated. Anyways, that said, let's get on with drawing some more cartoon characters, and we'll goof off and do that. Like I said, I figured we do some Tiny Toon characters. and you know, just do one of each. So I'll divvy the page down thing real quick, and they're the same height, Buster and Babs. They're basically, it's almost like drawing the same character twice. Of course, I'm not doing color. I'm just doing ink. If I get that far tonight, so it'll be kind of a matter of telling them apart by you know, Babs has bows in her hair and wears a skirt, and Buster wears a sweater, and neither of them wear pants. So, all right. Let's see. Oh, and I have a little thing. If you see me reaching up in the top right here, it's because I've got a little I have one of my old phones that just have pictures of all these characters that are kind of pulled up, so I can swipe back and forth between them for, you know, facial references or like a pose reference or just whatever the hell, you know. If I need to know like what exactly their clothes look like, or the characters, if they've got horns, or you know, just all that kind of stuff. So I figure I guess I'll start Buster on the left, Babs on the right. So the one thing I got to be mindful of is I got to, you know, they have big ears. So let's see, I kind of don't want them to go any higher than that, or any lower than this. Where is that on the screen? That's okay. That's down here. Yeah. So that's fine. The camera, I had to adjust that too, because this camera is rotated 180 degrees where it's mounted on the arm. I had to do that in OBS too. And can we play music that's like exciting or something? Like, I played the OC Remix channel on this because, or Rainwave, because they've warned me that doing like just the regular chiptune ones has the potential to get you copyright flagged. I don't know how Picarto, I don't know if they care about stuff like that, so I'll you know. Is that too? Because I'm gonna draw them side by side. I mean, he'll fit here. He'll fit here, so that's fine. We'll go with this. We'll go with this. All right. So I usually, whenever I sketch, of course, I just do the basic shapes and the guidelines and things like that. That music is. Rainwave is supposedly equalized, but I feel like you know, the music is a little bit there. Is that? It's a little bit better. All right. Super cool. So yeah, I do the guidelines whenever I do stuff like that. So starting with, this is obviously the head. Buster will be facing in this way, Babs will be facing in that way. So I want to have the center of Buster's face here. And then the curve, you know, you follow the curve, that's the direction the face is pointing. And then of course, you'll have the second line here, and that's going to be the center of his face. Longitudinally, and I guess that would be laterally, I guess would be the term for that. I'm trying to think of those $5 words. So anyways, the way this works is that his nose obviously goes right there. Easy. And then, you know, you have eyes, and then they have like the kind of the bushy face and stuff like that. So that'll all be, I'll just kind of be like right here. So we'll get to that. And then of course, probably have an ear here, and then, you know, a little dot right here, and then a little easy in here. That way the ears go up to these 2 points. Go with that. Do a line for the shoulders here, of course. Now, the Tiny Toons characters don't really have like broad shoulders. It's mostly kind of they have really kind of the cartoony, kind of noodly arms. So, and then of course a lot of Buster's body is going to be covered by his sweater anyway, so you're not really going to see that. So this is mostly guidelines for my reference, for the most part. Let's see, here. Go with kind of the chest area, front of the chest. Let's see. So we'll have the crotch here. Now, of course, I'm marking where the crotch goes, but you know, I don't I don't do lewd art, so we're not going to be drawing anything down there, of course. Put that, you know, very loosely. When I did Gadget, I didn't really incorporate clothes into the outline when I started, but you know, a lot of Buster's form is, you know, the clothes hug is figure. Of course, Gadgets did that too, but this one I have to put the bottom of the sweater in so I can figure out where it goes. Then we would have legs here. When am I going to beat the devil out of the brush? Man, you know what? I'll finish that thought in a second, but putting the little guidelines in for where his leg goes, it does look like I'm definitely drawing something else. Anyways, when am I going to beat the devil out of the brush? That's a game for that's out of Mr. Ross's playbook, right? Bob Ross. I do have paintings, actually. I've got this right here on this. I don't paint on my drafting table because I don't want to get stuff on it, but I do have this that I've been working on. Of course, this is a backdrop. This is a wall and some fancy carpet with smudges and stuff like that. I haven't really touched this in like a month and a half. I've been meaning to, you know, finish doing that painting. Let's see. That's going to kind of be feet go here. Let's see. I'm not sold on that. Let me move that up a little bit. I want the bottoms of the feet to be here. Okay, if that's his, because he also has a little tail. You know, he'll have a little bunny tail, right? Let's see. And of course, this leg, kind of like how we had Gadget. Gadget was facing this way last week, so her leg that was camera right was in front. So Buster's going to be the inverse. So this will be the leg that we see. Maybe if I put some more shapes on here, I can figure out how I want the feet to look. Because the feet are obviously going to kind of go like this. Let's see. Yeah, that might work. That might work. I've thought about doing painting streams, though, talking about Bob Ross, but I just never committed to him. Because, I mean, like I said, I don't want to paint on my drafting table, and this is, you know, I got the camera mounted on this, but, I mean, I guess I could, like, cover this in paper or something, maybe, like butcher paper? I don't know. We'll see, you know, we'll just see how this goes. Alright, I think I'm mostly happy with this body shape. So he's got a shoulder right here, kind of a shoulder right here. And like I said, the Tiny Toons characters, they more have, well, here, I mean, I have got the Fifi card. I don't usually draw attention. That was going to kind of be my thing, is just have something different down here every time and not really draw attention to it. But you can see from, you know, Fifi, she doesn't really have, her shoulders kind of go like that. They all kind of do that. I'd like to draw Fifi someday too. We'll see. I can just have that. I can just put that card on my little stand and use that as one of my references. Like we did with Gadget, I'm going to. I'm just going to use the nose as the kind of the starting point for doing the face. I haven't really watched a lot of streams or, you know, the creative process for how people. You know, whenever they decide to draw these characters themselves. You know, like for me, I mentioned when I was drawing Gadget, is the nose is just kind of the center of the face, and then I just kind of work out from there. So it's just, I don't know. Your mileage may vary. You know, there's no wrong way to eat a Reese's, like I said last week, and then of course we had a discussion of the numerous wrong ways that you could, in fact, eat a Reese's. All right, so let's see here. He's kind of got like the Buster and Babs Bunny kind of have like the Sonic character faces, you know, where it's like the eyes of the upper half, and then you know how like Tails and Sonic have the, you know what I'm talking about. Let's see. We'll, that. I feel like that cheek is a little bit bigger than, like this one's bigger than that one. Look at them going ham on that organ though. Man. Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec. That's music I could race to. Alright, so we gotta put the eyes on. Yeah, face cheek, whatever it's called. And of course, unlike the Sonic characters, you know, the Tiny Toons guys don't have the weird uni-eye. I don't know what Sonic's got some weird design traits with his body, you know. Organ music to race, forward stroke, do art to. Yeah, that's right. All right, I kind of, man. I don't really draw a lot of rabbits. It kind of looks like I'm going for a FNAF character. There is a bunny character, right? In Five Nights, they got one of those. I don't know. Okay. So one thing I'm gonna kind of do is that I figured, you know, Buster and Babs, I was gonna try to draw them kind of sarcastically with how they, with their kind of pose. I didn't mention this, but I figured I could draw. I was gonna draw like Buster, maybe both of them with like their hands on their hips or something, or one of them with crossed arms and one of them with, you know, the different pose, and you know, just have them like saying like no relation between the two of them, because that was like their thing on the show. Every time they introduce themselves, Buster Bunny, I'm Babs Bunny, no relation. And they both say that at the same time. So I was going to have them kind of like looking up this way, and I was going to draw a text bubble here at some point. So we'll see. So you got to kind of shape the eyes. So it's not really going to be angry as such. It's going to mostly just kind of be kind of one of those like almond-shaped kind of eyes. And then also the eyebrow. Like that's... I feel like once I kind of give definition to the face, like the facial features, that this would, let me go to my one of my references for eyes. Okay. So I'll go with that. And then kind of the same thing here, that same kind of shape. Go with that and that. And then this just kind of goes into the bottom of the face. Gonna kind of have a similar kind of shape of the eye here. Let's see. Maybe want to make the eyebrow pop a little more. That way it's not... It'll work. Sure. I don't know how happy I am with that, but you know, we'll ride with it. We'll see. We'll see. Well, he's looking straight up. I gotta kind of want them to be looking this way, not that way. So that'll be the pupil here. Yeah, there we go. That's better. See, it's looking, now that I think the reason why it looked like a FNAF character a second ago was because they didn't have, there was no life to their eyes. You know, that was, So we this dead, lifeless animatronic eyes. All right, so you know they got kind of like they both have a little tuft of like Tails hair here. So I'll do something like this. A little bit of that. And then this, you know, you can kind of take that, turn that into that side of the head. This side of the head is behind this hair somewhere. Maybe it'll make more sense to me if I start drawing the guidelines for the ears. So, all right, I'm gonna have just that kind of going like this, and then so. Let's see. Oh, I recognize this song too. Yeah, Cave Story. Good game. I remember when this game was new, when it was first released, one of my friends from high school was like, hey, you gotta try this. If you haven't played Cave Story, do yourself a favor and get it. There's Cave Story Plus on like Steam. And there's also there's like a Nintendo Switch version of it. I feel like I'm tapering the ear a little too weird. Well, I feel like what am I doing wrong here? The ear looks funny. The ear looks funny. I think the top. And like this line needs to follow this curvature better. I hate that less. I hate it less. So that's clearly a step in the right direction. All right, then we'll. Do. It just looks like a banana, you know, like. It's fine. You know, let me do the other ear real quick. We'll see if see if drawing a second ear makes me feel any better. If it frees my sparrow. No, that's going way out the wrong way. Looking. I mean, it looks better, but I feel like I'm not connecting them to the head right. It looks a little bit off to me. What am I doing? What am I doing weird here? They look like two different shapes. I mean, obviously, how am I trying to phrase this? They look like two different appendages. Hang on, let's see. I thought my microphone was picking up the song. I've got a pair of speakers so I can hear what I'm doing. Like right down under the table right there. Okay, which I'm gonna be staring at this for a while. Which one of these looks weird to me? Like they look like they don't match, like they don't belong on the same body. And if I keep refining the shape, maybe I can. No, that line is. I'm making that line too straight. If I just keep screwing with it. like this one more. I like that one more, so I got to figure out what I've done with the shape on this one. I think it's like a different thickness, or like this one comes too far out this way. Let's see. Let me just see. If I clean up this weird, like, bowing out section right there. I know a few minutes ago I fixed this side of the ear, and I was like, that was definitely the problem side. I feel like I was incorrect about that. I don't know. It looks... Oh, let me put the center of the ears in. Maybe if I put the middle in, it'll look less weird to me. I'll be honest with you, I've really only ever sketched these two characters. I've never really done a lot of Tiny Toons art. It was one of my favorite cartoons when I was younger. I mean, the fact that Tiny Toons was on Hulu at one point, that was the determining factor whenever I had a streaming package for a very brief amount of time when I was looking for something to do before I started to be creative and productive with my free time. I did have a Hulu subscription only because Tiny Toons Adventures was on the service. And then, of course, it got delisted, and then I was looking for a reason to keep it around, and then I wound up watching Shark Tank for a while. That looks better. Honestly, it looks better now that I've added some of the final lines. I don't hate it. So, let's see. So the thing with Babs and Buster is that they've got, like, their nose is part of, like, their face, their mouth or whatever, you know what I mean? So it's like this would come down in here, and if I wanted to have him being kind of sarcastic, let's see. The dimples sell it. You know, the dimples always sell it. We learned that with Gadget last week. So one of the things that they have is you got like these. It's almost like they're like little buzzsaws on the little tufts of fur on their cheeks, and that's what kind of sells the shape of their face. You know, that's what kind of like locks it in. You know what I really need to do? I need to get one of those gloves that only has like the two fingers. Partially fingerless gloves. It's like it's the artist glove. There's a name for it. You know, there's the ones you wear whenever you are sketching. It's mostly for people that work in like pastel and charcoal, so you don't like whoops and then smudge everything. If you use like graphite ink and stuff like that, it can help too. Alright, so chin goes here, and then I'll connect that up to the It's alright. Like I said, I don't hate it yet. Alright, now is going to be the part where it's going to be kind of awkward, because we got to do the neck here. He has like a turtleneck, like a sweater on. So there's going to be a big, let's see. There's going to be a big, what's that called? Collar. So it'll be the front where the garment is kind of open. And then Fire Emblem. Alright, so shoulder here, because he's pitched this way, so this shoulder will be closer to us, and then, you know, we'll kind of have that here, and then we'll kind of see that behind the collar. I grabbed my shirt and kind of like popped it to demonstrate what I was talking about, and literally I'm the only person who can see that. Let's see. So that'll be the collar of the sweater. Just make us give him a chain, I guess. Kind of what it looks like I'm doing. All right. So that goes here. That goes here. Alright, that's about the shape of the shirt. Have hands kind of coming out here. Be the elbow. Gonna have that going down. That'll be the hand right here. And then that one, we'll see the arm here, but not so much. Like if he's resting them, like, so we had, the Gadget had one of her hands on her. Yeah, Gadget had her hands on her hips. So I'll do like not really hands on the hips where like they're like hugging their hips, but just kind of like resting their wrists on it, you know. That way I can avoid drawing the hands, the fingers. I mean. All right. So we'll go with that. We'll go with that. Let's see. So I feel like the proper first move would be to draw the shoulder here, because that's going to kind of be closest to us, and then we can kind of work in like the turtleneck part of his sweater, you know what I mean? I mean, I guess would the top of the sweater kind of be like encroaching on his face too? Like, would it? I'm trying to picture in my head, like, would it actually come up over his cheek a little bit? I mean, I don't think so, because his face, you know, these characters don't exist in 3 dimensions, so trying to picture them is a little weird. That's why I'm not a cartoonist. I'll leave it for now. Played a lot of Tiny Toons games when I was younger. I had Buster's Hidden Treasure for the Sega Genesis growing up. That game is quite difficult if you've never played it before. But it's cool because there's like multiple routes you can take. Then of course the NES game, and then the sequel, Trouble in Wacky Land. And then there were several, actually, for the Game Boy. There's the regular Game Boy. There's, like, Montana's Movie Madness, Bab's Big Break. I have all of them. And I'm just trying to name them off the top of my head. There was also, like, the Looney Tunes Wacky Workshop Cartoon Studio that was also, like, an NES thing. But that was one of those, it's almost like, I think it was a THQ released Videomation or something, whatever that was. It was like a crappy little animation thing for the Wii, or not Wii, the NES. The Looney Tunes studio thing was kind of like that. It's kind of worthless. I have it just for the sake of saying I've got it, but I don't think I've ever actually done anything with it. I didn't have that when I was a kid. I got that one later when I was older. I bought it just so I could have, you know, all the Tiny Toons games for the NES, because I'm a very well-adjusted adult who spends his money on, only the necessities. Let's see. A little bit of go with that. And we'll put a couple wrinkles in the, spots for wrinkles in the clothes or whatever. Kind of give his body some definition, that's... Sure, that's fine. I mean, I guess I could probably also kind of put one right here, around the back. Alright. Will be the elbow here. I can work with that. So the tricky part here is going to be, drawing the hand kind of connects like right here. So obviously the thing I'm drawing has a sleeve on it, so that'll probably cut that right there. It had to have a sleeve. And then the sleeve will droop a little bit this way because that's the direction it's hanging in. And then it would have the oh shoot, he's got gloves on too. Forgot they've got his Buster's got, I don't know. I'm not going to worry about gloves because that would be a really messy. Okay, and if you have your thumbs, his thumb is going to be up behind him somewhere, so I don't don't think to worry too much about that. So we'll just that's probably fine. All right. Thanks to Tiny Toons, I actually discovered they might be giants because they were featured on a couple episodes of the show. Some of their songs, Particle Man, absolute banger. It's one of the greats. One of the greats. What's Particle Man like? It's not important. You got to ask the important questions here. Is he a dot? Is he a speck? When he's underwater, I mean, does Particle Man even get wet? Or, consequently, does the water get him instead? Nobody knows. I'm sure there's a couple of you that are going to get that and appreciate it. What am I trying to do here? I mean, so there's going to be a gap, right? Like the back leg right here. Yeah, okay. Let me not get too gung-ho, because this foot's going to be the one in front, so I got to figure out that's going to come out to like here. Man, I'm cutting that awfully damn close, aren't I? I'll keep it like, yeah, that'll... Let me just draw a foot, and I'll see if it makes my skin crawl when I look at it. That's about. I'm gonna have to end it right there. So then we have a toe, 3 toes, of course. Gonna have that. We'll do another. No, I'm looking. I keep eyeing it, Let's see. The shape is not quite right. I'm just trying to roughly kind of get it out there. Let's see. I did kind of shorten it a bit, kind of foreshortening. I feel like the perspective is a little weird. I feel like we're seeing this from a different angle. Let's see. Let me adjust the height of the toes, maybe. Well, let me just draw the rest of the line here, because that he has like kind of blue, he has white foot pads, but the top of it's blue. Let me also adjust my bar stool. Is it the ankle, maybe? It looks a little off. It looks a little off. So I think there's 2 problems here. I think the heel and the ankle are a little bit iffy. What'd you say? Yiffy? No, iffy. Okay. I bring that in a little. Bring it in a little more. It's better. It's certainly better. It's certainly better. I'm gonna run with that. Oh, yeah. Let's do his tail, too. So, I mean, most of it's going to kind of be behind him, but he has kind of a little bushy, little bunny tail. Three little tufts, and then a second row of tufts. He's got the blue. He's got the white fur on the bottom side of his tail, and then the blue, on where his back is. So you could probably also maybe have the yellow or the white of his. I'm thinking about Sonic the Hedgehog, Okay, this is kind of looking like a mess. What am I? Right, so we got to tuck that. Well, again, let's just get the shape out. Let's get the shape down. I'll see if it enrages me to look at. Once again, of course, now I got to make sure to kind of draw this foot the same, proportionally the same size as the other one. I kind of had to that one a little bit because I would have gone off the bottom of the page. Let's see. I'm also checking my OBS stats. We had some drop frames last week, so I'm seeing if that's still a point of concern. Okay, so where's the top of his foot's going to kind of be like, because it has to match here, so we'll just like this one, so yeah, because this foot is coming out this way, and this one's going to be... How many toes are we going to see? How many bunny toes? Let's see. Let's see what 2 looks like, implying that the third one is on the other side of the foot. That needs some work, because the main arc of that implies... Yeah, okay. Yeah, so the topmost arc on his foot, like right here, has to go above the middle toe, otherwise it looks incorrect. That's better. It's better. I don't know. The feet are kind of weird. Oh, I didn't even draw his other arm. It's like, I'm looking at the... I'm like, what is... Okay. So that one, we're going to kind of see it here. And then really, it's just going to kind of... That's just going to kind of tuck in that way. We're not going to see much of his other arm, because again, that's behind him on the side that's opposite, away from us. I don't know, the more I look at it, the more I think his mouth looks a little bit weird, too. Better. I think it's okay. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not like... it's weird. I feel like I'm not like celebrating and, you know, as enthusiastic as when I'm not as confident as when I was drawing Gadget last week. I don't know. It's kind of weird. He's got kind of a weird facial expression, and the feet are kind of... I don't know. You know, it's fine, okay? It's fine. We're going to go with that. What time is it? 8? Inking doesn't take all that long. Watch, it's going to be the longest part. Let's go ahead and just do Babs. Let's do Babs over on this side, okay? So, the top of the head's here, so I'm going to kind of do the same thing. Bottom of the head's here. Again, I'm going to kind of mirror that, do the same thing. Tell you what, I'm going to get a drink. I do have a glass of water that is behind me. There's nowhere on no drinks on the drafting table, okay? Heard that sound like Kingdom Hearts. I don't know what song it's a remix of. I just know it's the song from Kingdom Hearts. It was in all the commercials. You know, to this day, I've never played a Kingdom Hearts game. It's just not really my wasn't really my cup of tea, you know. Let's see. Robin Hood in Kingdom Hearts? I know it's a Disney Squeenix joint. But did they ever put my man Robin B. Hood in there? Let's see. Similar kind of thing. You know, Babs has the same kind of facial qualities about her. I think if anything, her cheeks are probably a little more pronounced. She's a little floofier. They do have about the same overall kind of head shape. You know, I'll go with that. Let's see something. What if I do like that and have this one up a little higher? Okay, I'm doing this. I'm kind of going about this weird because I'm trying to get like, I'm not just trying to mirror. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to look at this and then flip it, you know, vertically in my head and then copy it here. I'm trying to think of a different pose entirely to draw for Babs. Not a different, you know, completely different pose. Like I said, hands on the hips or at their sides or with the knuckles out. There's a complete thought in there somewhere. It's going to kind of put a little more tilt to her head. Let's see. So her, we have one eye here. One eye here. Well, I also got to be mindful of the fact that I need to go with that. Top of the eye. You know what I realized I could do? Here, look. Here. Let me get the kind of the eye shape in. Okay, you see what I got going on here? Now look. No. That's if they made Tiny Toons today. I think that's a sign that maybe her cheeks, I've drawn them a little too floofy. Okay. Okay, we have an ear. An ear. Oh man. The top of her head closer to the top of the page, I think it is, oh man, it is a little bit. Okay, well we'll have, okay, well I still gotta, right there, and I can kind of do like a, and then kind of have a shape kind of like Buster's other. Yeah, okay. I'll go with that. And then, you know, we got the little hair poof right here too. I got to be mindful of that. Eyes as well. Okay, so I'm not gonna get too gung-ho on doing the face. You know, I've got to do the rest of the body as well. So I do feel like I feel like the bottom, like her chin, the bottom part of her face, I feel like I have done that a little too big. So we'll kind of rein that in a little bit. That looks better. That looks better. Okay, so neck, right? Neck here. Same kind of thing, you know. Not really super visible shoulders. And again, characters don't really have broad shoulders, so we're going to have... Buster's has like one here, like one... Okay. Center. Now, Babs wears, she's got a skirt, so we're not, you know, like how we can see, you know, Buster's not wearing any pants, so we can kind of see where his crotch is. I'm going to have to kind of imagine in my head, you know, about where that would be, you know, matching it up here. So I'm thinking like right here, you know, hips, I'm going to kind of, sure. So then, kind of the chestular region. Of course, I'm not going to draw. It's kind of the same thing when we draw on Gadget. I'm not really going to be doing like, you know, huge gazongas, right? Robertsons, but those are right here. So, you know, picture them in your head. All right, then she'll have, you know, this arm kind of here. Okay, well, where does the, so the skirt goes above the, you know, at the waistline, so above the hips. So the skirt just about right here, maybe? Skirt, and then hand. That's about where Buster's, that's about where Buster's is. Okay, we'll go with that. And then, you know, other one, you know, there. Okay, that's where I drew the hips. So we'll kind of draw this part fanned out a bit, because that's dress. Keep checking. It's a skirt. Dress. Okay. That's where that goes. Now her feet. I guess I kind of want them to also kind of start in this kind of this area. I don't want them to go too far. Tell you what, since I since I kind of oopsied on Buster, right? I feel like what I should have done is, like, I should have drawn his feet splayed, facing opposite directions, because he's facing this way, and that's why this one I kind of had to shorten it a little bit. I mean, I guess I could still do that, but it doesn't look too bad the way I saved it. So we'll just do Babs, like I said, a slightly different pose. You know what I mean? So we'll draw her feet doing that instead. So this leg is going to be the dominant one. We're going to see that one. Okay, and then kind of the foot shape here, and we'll have this foot coming out that way. Back leg here. Here, was that one in right here? So then that one goes. That'll probably look better. It'll be better. So I'm just kind of studying the design I've got. Yeah, I'm confident in that. Let me see if I can scoot further, because this is further away than Gadget was when I was doing Gadget. So let me see if I can scoot my bar stool to the side. I don't got too much clearance here, because I do have a little drawer tucked into, it's like right under the desk right here. And I'll bump my knee on it if I'm not careful. All right. Let's go with let's just start filling in the face. Start filling in the face. commit to that too much, because I do got to give the little, called them little saw blades, little poofs. Do got to make those look kind of distinct so I can... And of course, I'm also trying not to make them the line's too dark, because after I hit it with ink, then of course I go back in and I erase all the pencil. This eye, I'm going to kind of do the same thing, kind of have the little almond shape, same expression, so the eyebrow will kind of be like this, and then this eyebrow kind of, again, I don't know, I guess maybe I am kind of just 180ing or mirroring the face, I guess, but... So there's kind of a thing, whenever people talk about, Sonic the Hedgehog, right? Sonic fans, everyone's got a Sonic crush. Everybody's got one. It's just some people are unwilling to admit that. I think everybody also probably has a Tiny Toons crush as well. Please, don't make me be the only one, otherwise that makes me weird, right? I wouldn't want that. Is that... This fluorescent pulses just ever so slightly. I kind of inherited this light, this light on the boom arm that I've got. It's right above me. Okay, that's workable. And then how did I do that over here? I kind of had the... It's a cool song. What's this one? Phantasy Star. See, well, there's your answer. I'll be honest, I wasn't really big into Phantasy Star when I was younger, but that's one of those games I played later in life, and I think it's all right. It's... the big kind of turn-based RPG, it's a little bit clunky for me, but I'm not a big turn-based RPG kind of guy, but I do appreciate, programmatically what it took for, like, in the first Phantasy Star game, that was, like, Master System, I think, how they actually have, like, the kind of the first-person kind of dungeon thing where you kind of go through, and then when you hit a corner, the whole thing turns. It is, like, super-duper slow and cumbersome to play today, but, I'd imagine... I didn't have a Master System when I was a kid, but I'd imagine if you did, back in the day, like, seeing that would have been like, that would have been like next level. It's kind of like the first time I saw Star Fox, the 3D effects chip, on the Super NES. The first time I saw that, I was like, dude, you kidding me? Like, it's practically real. I do remember the first time I saw, like, an actual, like, 3D game. I was at the local video rental store, and they had the N64, the day it came out, they had one there, and they were playing Super Mario on it, and I remember just being like, I mean, I was young at the time, it was 96, so I remember seeing that in the store and just completely enraptured. with Mario. I was like, you kidding me? Like, that's it's 3D, man. I'm trying to give Babs like a smirk, you know? But yeah, that was cool seeing that like for the first time, you know, seeing 3D Mario. I'm gonna give Babs slightly different expression. Like I said, Buster's kind of like, I guess, anxious or nervous or unsure, and I'm gonna kind of make Babs a little more sarcastic about, you know, what she's looking at. That way, it's not just the exact same thing. It's better. Okay. So she's got little she has little bow ties on at the tops of her ears. So we're gonna have to do like a little like this and like a little like that. So that's gonna be the part of the ear that's like pink that's showing. And that'll be one bow, two bows. Kind of get that out here. Like that, like that. Then, I hear words. What do we got here? Oh, Earthbound. Earthbound, you know what's... I played Earthbound when I was younger. I had a friend growing up who actually had this game straight up. He bought it from, like, the Toys R Us. He had it for his Super NES. I remember playing it, and I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. He even had the thing that came with, because Earthbound was one of those games that, like, when you bought it in the store, it actually included the strategy guide. And usually you'd have to, like, get the official Nintendo Power Guide. You'd have to get it separately. That was their upsell. But Earthbound had a really weird, I guess, like, kind of marketing to it, where... I'm trying to think, did Nintendo really ever have themselves like a... I guess it'd be a second-party game, right? Had they ever really released an RPG up to that point? So I know there was like Final Fantasy, but that was Squaresoft. It wasn't a Nintendo... I mean, it was on a Nintendo system, but it wasn't Nintendo. So I was trying to think like if... Because I remember like in Nintendo Power they gave you like scratch and sniff stickers for Earthbound, and they were like, this game stinks. It's like, yeah, well, no wonder nobody bought it. Giving it, but then it was also, it was also the 90s. They were trying to be cool about it, and the stickers that they gave you, like, I think one of them smelled like pizza, because they didn't, I don't think the sticker smelled bad. Although there was a sticker of Master Belch, and I don't know what that one smelled like. I kind of don't want to know, if I want to be honest with you. I don't like the implication. Yeah, I remember playing Earthbound. Just, it's kind of being, I guess, blown away is not the way to phrase it. I didn't really like Earthbound when I played it, but I did acknowledge, even back then in the 90s, you know, that I was certainly playing something different. Maybe it wasn't my game. It wasn't really my thing, but I was playing this. I'm like, it's wacky. The humor is strange, you know, like. I even remember in the first Super Smash Brothers game for 64. Did I kind of do that? I kind of did that weird. I kind of put the bow like behind the ear. I was too busy talking about Earthbound. Oh, that's not too bad, you know, because obviously, because I do have to draw the inside, you know what I mean, the inside part of the ear as well. So that'll work out. That'll work out. Unfortunately, my friend from school, he didn't really hang on to his games. He did eventually sell them when he got slightly older, you know, kind of before retro games were a big thing. So I don't know how much he got for his copy of Earthbound, but I'm absolutely positive it was it was not a lot. I mean, because I remember like going to garage sales back in the day, and like when the Super Nintendo came out, I remember I have a memory of going to a garage sale, and they were selling. They had a copy of the original Metroid for NES. How did I do this? Did I do the... I think I drew the knot first. You drawing Babs or a dog? I see. I remember going like when the Super NES came out and going to like a garage sale, and they had you know, I guess the kid who was there, he was just selling his NES games, right? Because he didn't need them anymore. They got the Super NES. It's super. It'd be crazy to still play this old crap. But like, I didn't have a Super NES for a while, you know, because I didn't really have a whole lot of money. So I would go to these garage sales, and they'd be selling their NES games and whatnot. And okay, maybe this is why the bow looks weird. If I add like, that looks better. I remember seeing he was selling a copy of just Metroid, like the original Metroid, silver label, not the yellow re-release one. $1, literally $1. Which then again, you know, this was early '90s, so $1 may have been. I mean, comparatively, it'd be like $5 today, maybe. I'm not sure. I just remember I remember talking to this kid like vaguely, because again, this was 30 years ago plus. I remember like asking him like, dude, what are you, only $1 for this game? And he was like, yeah, they got Super Metroid now. I don't need this one anymore. I don't know, it was just weird because I was like, you know, it's still a good game. $1? Sure, I'll take it. And that's how I got my copy of Metroid for $1. Did I do this weird? I feel like I'm drawing this in a different order than I drew the other one because I wasn't paying attention. I was talking about Earthbound. I mean, even as a kid, though, like, I never really sold any of my video games. I just hung on to them. Which turned out to be maybe the smartest investment decision I've ever made in my entire life. Okay, I'm trying to bring this ear back in. You know, because that's... Let me just draw the shape. Let me draw the other side of it. I'll see. I don't know. This definitely has... This ear definitely has more slug-like qualities than the other one does. It's weird, though, because, like, what kind of throws me off is, you know, looking at... I'm kind of scrolling through, like I said, I got multiple pictures of, like, Babs and stuff that I'm kind of looking at. Like how Buster's ear, the whole ear, also has the inside thing. Babs, the little tips she has don't actually... Like, the inside of her ears don't go into that. It starts at the bow. So I feel like that's, like, artificially, like, throwing me off mentally. Because she has ears that are the same height, but like the inside of them is not the same size. So I think that's like messing with my perception of it. perspective of it. Again, let's just draw the... I mean, I almost feel like I should just move that up a little bit. You know, it's I mean, okay, how... That's about as long as the eraser. And, I mean, that one kind of is. Again, I think it's just the illusion of the size difference that's kind of messing with me. Because this is about the same size as the eraser, and this is the size of the eraser. So, this one is, like, a little bit bigger, but I feel like it's... I don't know, does that look weird to anybody? Like, it's... Is that lunar pool? Yeah. Lunar ball, if you're in Japan, of course. This is it's a great game for the Famicom NES. I've been wanting to make a conversion of it myself for, like, PC or something. It's like mini golf and billiards together. It's a cool little hybrid combo kind of thing. You know what? Let me... If I add her eyelashes, does it look... Yeah, it looks better. We'll run with that. We'll run with that. Let's see. Neck. And a chestular region. See what I'll do though. I'm gonna give Babs a little bit more of a shrug. You know, Buster is just kind of like, he's, I don't know, like I said, I'm gonna make the expressions a little bit different. I'm gonna give Babs a little more like, yeah, who the fuck cares? Babs is gonna be serving, okay? Like that's that's what I'm going for here. That's the look I'm going for. You feel me? Okay. Here. You know, Babs, you know, Buster, he's just got kind of that loose fitting. You know, I guess... Yeah, I gave him some bunchiness to the sleeves. I'm trying to figure, because Babs has like a blouse. You know, I don't know what you'd call it. So, let's go like this. Okay, that'll be arm. I feel like I'm like doing this in like weird order. That'll be the hole in the sleeve. Is this still lunar pool? Oh wow, I wasn't expecting like freeform jazz. So that'll be that. Little sleeve. I guess the arm hole. Sleeve. I like it. I like it. I can work with that. That's good. You know what's funny about Lunar Pool is you kind of render the game like unwinnable. Is you can set the friction. For some reason, they let you do that. So you can set it to 0, meaning that like the cue ball never stops. Now it is possible to man, I'm just stumbling into drawing her hand, aren't I? Okay. But yeah, you can set the friction to nothing, and it just kind of goes on forever, and it's you can win levels, but you would have to make a perfect shot that literally sinks every ball on the table in one go. And I feel like on some stages that's like not actually possible to do. Okay, you know what? I'm going to do what I usually do when I get anxious about drawing character features. I'm going to go to a different part of the picture. Okay, now I also gotta, do the, this part. This part's also important to draw. I mean, for a lot of people, depending on who you ask, it's the most important part of the character. Front. Alright, and of course, as they say, you can't run forever. I recognize this, but is this Final Fantasy? No, it's also Earthbound. Sorry, Mother. Okay, this is going to kind of be a... I can kind of hide her... See, but I did a good job hiding Buster's hand. I'm doing a bad job with Babs. Posture check. Hang on. I can do that with this one. Okay. So it'll be kind of the same. Well, see, her sleeves don't go as far down as Buster's, so you're going to still see the opening of the sleeve, I guess. You know what I mean? We're still going to see that. We're going to see the sleeve before we see where her hand is. So that sleeve is going to cover, like the cuff, rather, is going to cover quite a bit, I'd say. like that? I mean, I guess I do. So this one, I mean, I can't really do this myself. I don't have like a picture reference for a hand kind of doing this. I'm going to have to just kind of invent this on my own. So we're going to see that here, and the fingers kind of go like that, I guess. So we're going to see like that kind of shape. How does a wrist... Clean this up a little bit. Play something inspirational for me. What are you playing? The text is too small. Sokagi? Sokai? Never heard of it. I got really quiet there because I was like trying to focus on that. I mean, I guess I'll just go with that. That's fine. Doesn't look... I don't like it. That is probably the worst. Just nobody look at that part, okay? Nobody... Just pretend that part's not there. Okay, so Babs's legs kind of coming down from here. Then I kind of have to do the legs before I can do the back side of the skirt because you kind of see where it goes around behind her too, you know. Okay, so leg, then the heel. Don't make the same mistake I made with Buster, of course. So then the other side of the foot's going to be like this. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. So then they're gonna kind of both look like this foot, though. It's thunder. Whoops. A very faint thunder, very distant thunder. So kind of, I'm honestly just kind of drawing this foot again. Let's see. Okay. So then put the arch right there. It doesn't look bad. Oh, hang on. Yeah, I gotta draw her tail too. Don't worry, we're not gonna see much of it. Just gonna see a little poof here, and then the back side of it. I think, yeah, Babs, she has like a little, it's like a little koosh ball for a tail. It's not really a, it's not as pronounced as Buster's. You know, Buster has like the little pointed kind of Peter Cottontail tail, and then Babs has a little ball. Pom-pom. That's the word. A koosh ball. Okay, so this other foot's going to kind of be like right here, kind of. We're going to kind of not see all of it, though. Let me see. I got to kind of match this right here, the kind of the dominant leg. That still has to kind of be implied. You know, even though we can't see under the skirt, that still kind of has to be like still has to be part of the design. I don't know, man. Why am I having trouble with this foot? Or this leg, rather? Something about, I mean, because they've just got the straight, like, cartoon legs. I just feel like maybe, I don't know, maybe trying to, I feel like I'm trying to give maybe Babs too much definition to her legs, maybe? I don't know. Because, you know, you can see there's a gap in Buster's legs, but his legs are facing the same way. Hers are... Okay. Let me just try something crazy real quick. What if I kind of adjust? Where do I want this? I guess right here? What if I adjust the way she's standing on that foot? Like, kind of almost like have a little, oh. You know what I mean? Like, if she's kind of like standing up, not on her tippy toes, but like, if she's kind of got this foot kind of up behind her, and she's standing on the, is that called the ball of your foot? The front part of it? I think is what that's called. So where would that, so it would be like, where would this be? she would see her toes predominantly. So that would kind of be implied. So there'd be like a little bump, right? And then that would kind of just go back. Maybe I'm drawing, maybe it's because I've drawn, I don't know, she has a, her body is more slender than Buster's, so maybe I'm just like, because she has like wider hips, right? And then her legs kind of go down into a more, she has like, not smaller feet, but smaller ankles. At least that's kind of what I'm seeing. It's almost 9, wow. That looks better? I guess. I mean, that doesn't look too bad. It's kind of weird because like the top, like the Sonic the Hedgehog shoe part of their foot, you know, that makes that weird stripe, and it kind of, I mean, it does kind of delineate, you know, where their toes are. But I guess if they would be standing kind of forward on their toes, it'd be kind of hard to. I don't know. That looks better. It looks better. Yeah, it's good. I have a lot more experience with Gadget than I do the Tiny Toons, okay? Let's see, let me study them again. So I feel like it's almost been almost 2 hours, so I figured it would probably take me maybe about another hour to ink it, because then I do all the cross-hatching and a little bit of the shading and stuff, so maybe I can just stream again tomorrow and do the ink tomorrow, and then just kind of at least get the line art done today. That'll just be two separate things. So I'm kind of looking at that. Let me give them a glancing over and make sure they're not. I don't know. Is it, everything look fine to you guys? I mean, Buster, he's got his shirt. You know, you've got the tilted this way. Babs is tilted this way. Ears are fine, I guess. You know, I can work with that. They both have their tails. Feet, clothes look correct. I mean, I got the pictures there, and I got a couple of the figurines up on the shelf across the room that I kind of keep glancing back at. Eyelashes. Really? They seem good. They seem good. So I'll let me put the little speech bubble between them though. I'll do that. Yeah, that works. Because I wanted them to kind of both be saying it. Yeah, I mean, that's... Again, I'm just kind of staring at him real quick. I'm not going to sign it yet, because I'm going to ink it and everything, too. So I don't, Nothing calls out to me as being, like, just immediately incorrect. They're both the same proportion-wise. They're the same height. You know, far enough apart where I could fit that in. You can read it. It's... Seems good. So I think that's a good stopping point for tonight. You know, like I said, it's been about almost 2 hours, just give or take. So, is that Ninja Turtles? Hell yeah, dude. Never drawn them. I don't think I'll draw the turtles. That's not really my forte. I was not a Turtles kid. But yeah, I'll run with this, and depending on my availability tomorrow, maybe I'll just ink it and do a stream tomorrow and ink it. Or, you know, if I get too busy, too caught up in other stuff, I'll just, you know, we'll ink it next week and have just 2 separate parts. Because, like I said last time, when I drew Gadget, when I drew Gadget, it's just one character. So I drew her and then inked her all in one stream. So here, I mean, it's, arguably, I did kind of double the drawing time by making 2 characters. So, well, I don't want to spread myself too thin. Also, I kind of want to, you know, out of respect for you guys' time as well. You know what I mean? I don't want to eat up all of your evening as well. The night is young. It's only 10 o'clock. Sorry, 11. What time is it? 9 o'clock? Yeah, 9 o'clock. See if it's even earlier. The night is young. But yeah. Thank you for swinging by, everybody. I really appreciate it. And again, I mentioned at the beginning of the stream when I was kind of addressing a couple of things that were on my mind that one of my friends kind of poked me about. My bio on Picarto does say that I'm kind of an open book for, you know, fandom stuff and just kind of bullshitting about furry things and all that. But there are a few things that are kind of no-go zones. That, of course, is one of them. I kind of don't really want to talk about and get into stuff like that. But I felt like, you know, that they kind of... something happening outside of the realm of things outside of my control. I figured I would just kind of give everybody a heads up, like I said, in case anybody was swinging by and was, you know, didn't know that I was aware of that. But yeah, that's nice to know that you know, people kind of see you, kind of see things for what they are. It's nice because you know, without getting into it too much, if you read some of the other entries on my old blog and stuff like that, I say old blog, but you know, where I've been talking about that kind of stuff. It's kind of my way of working through it. So I did lose kind of a significant amount of time of my life to just kind of just fretting and worrying over this kind of stuff that was just outside of my control, and it was kind of my way of like sorting out my feelings and kind of my thoughts and stuff on the matter. So it is nice to know that like other people have read that and they've responded to it positively and they get it, because one of the worst feelings you can have is having these racing thoughts and trying to sort them out, and you just feel like you're fucking crazy. Like you feel like you are just schizophrenic and insane in the membrane, and everyone's gonna think you're weird or crazy. You know what I mean? So it's nice to know that like when I finally nutted up and just put my feelings out there and tried to organize them as best I can, that you know people read that, the message got across and stuff like that. So again, thank you for treating me with kindness and understanding. It does. It means a lot to me. You know, like I said last week, for me to be able to come back and kind of do these streams and draw these characters and all that stuff, it's really it's really a big personal step for me to kind of be just open kind of about kind of this side of my interests in my life and things like that, to draw furry characters and I guess kind of make, you know, this kind of anthro furry art, toon art, whatever you want to call it. So it's been a whole process, and it's weird that like when I just decided to come back and start doing art again, and making videos or making streams and then posting the videos, it's like, oh, it just so happens that's when everything decides to start happening. So hopefully, either tomorrow or next week or whenever we pick this one back up and do the ink, hopefully at least have a nice, easy-going stream, I don't know, but yeah. Anyway, thanks for swinging by. I'm Lewis. I don't have social media, and I don't have any really meaningful way of contacting me. So I appreciate you swinging by. If you're watching this on YouTube, thanks for using me to kind of fill some free time out throughout your day, whether you had me on when you're doing laundry or dishes or whatever the hell. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. You can follow me on Picarto and get a little ping whenever I go live. I assume that's how it works. I don't think there's a Picarto app, so just check back. I'm trying to keep things, Saturdays at 7 or whatever. I'm trying to kind of keep it there in that butter zone so there's not a lot of guesswork, but, we'll see. Thank you. Good night.